Hi, my name is Jamie Harn, and thank you so much for tuning into my video about the Internet of Things. So, let's just start off with what exactly is the Internet of Things? So, the Internet of Things, also known as IoT, is the integration of physical devices, vehicles, buildings, and other items that are embedded and enable these objects to collect and store data. So, in a much more simplistic terms, the Internet of Things allows, more or less, is the infrastructure of the information technology society. IoT is the concept of making ordinary and everyday widgets, households, and cities a lot more smarter and also enables them to communicate through processors. Each object is uniquely identifiable through an embedded computer system and is able to interoperate with the existing internet infrastructure. Some experts claim that by the year 2020, IoT will consist of at least 20 billion objects. So next, I'll talk about the history of IoT. And so, starting off in 1982, the concept of the network of smart devices was discussed. This was a modified Coke machine at Carnegie Mellon University became the first internet-connected appliance. It was able to report this inventory, and it was able to tell whether the newly loaded Coke drinks were actually cold. In 1994, Razi Raji described the concept of IEEE spectrum as moving small packets of data to a large set of nodes so that you can integrate and automate everything from home appliances to entire factories. Then in 1999, radio frequency identification was discovered. It was seen by Kevin Ashton as the prerequisite for the Internet of Things at that point. He believed if all objects and people in daily life were equipped with identifiers, computers could manage and inventory them. So using this tagging system was achieved through such technologies as near field communication, barcodes, QR codes, and digital watermarking. As of 2016, the vision of the Internet of Things has evolved due to a convergence of multiple technologies. In an analysis by McKinsey and Company in June 2025 projected that IoT will potentially be an $11.1 trillion industry by the year 2025. So just to continue to talk about IoT, I would like to discuss how does it work. So it allows inanimate objects to communicate. So things that could previously not communicate with one another can communicate through devices. So typically IoT is expected to offer advanced connectivity of devices, systems, and servers that goes beyond machine to machine communications and cover a variety of protocols, domains, and application. The interconnection of these embedded devices is expected to usher in automation in nearly all fields while also enabling advanced applications like smart grids. So, communication between sensors and objects in a external machine will take society to a whole new level. For example, sensors in cement can detect ice on the road and then notify a driver to slow down when it's approaching this ice. So the sensor between the road and then the automatic car can help take society to new heights. Next, I'm going to discuss some of the advantages of IoT. What's really awesome for the individual is the integration of the healthcare system. As you know, we have a very stagnant healthcare system along with our healthcare record. So, with this new Internet of Things, we can then make the healthcare record much more intuitive. It also helps to eliminate waste. So, pollution waste and things like that can all be tracked through the Internet of Things. Also, for businesses, it allows the tracking and controlling of inventory. So now we can have those machine to machine communication between facilities so they can notify a person when they are low on a certain inventory. Also, for the targeting of customers, it can provide a more personalized system that could potentially increase business sales and increase their demographic for certain businesses. So, as I said earlier, one of the big benefits of the Internet of Things is smart cities. These smart cities could take society to an entirely new level because of their sophistications. We could have connected streetlights, power grids that allow us to eliminate some of the waste and pollution and also decrease the amount of energy that is being used by certain societies. It also could help with waste systems instead of wasting is nearly as much materials and resources that we do today. We can help cut down on some of those with these new smart cities that can be provided through the Internet of Things. Also, pollution monitors, which can allow us to, for businesses that have a high areas of smoke that is giving off or radiation, for instance, we can then monitor that because we have the means to do so through machine to machine communications. Also, our transportation system, which is also very important because with the Internet of Things, we can have inter and intra vehicle communications, which means that the vehicle can communicate with a sensor on the road to tell the vehicle to slow down because they're approaching ice. Also within the vehicle, so that goes back to safety and roadside assistance. So if you're ever stranded or if your car breaks down or something internally within your car is not working correctly, the Internet of Things can notify the driver about this mishap. Also, electronic toll collection. We've actually already started to see some of this throughout the United States already. But with these electronic toll collections, we're then able to pay everything electronically, so we don't have to worry about coins or anything like that. So it just makes it to be much more convenient. Personally, my most favorite thing that we can do with the Internet of Things is integrate our healthcare system and our health care records. These records are not very intuitive, as I mentioned before. They only provide, they're only good for receiving information, not necessarily providing or influencing healthcare. With this new Internet of Things, we can then allow it to connect to devices so it can monitor patients. It can also notify physicians to perform this particular procedure. There are so many, a vast amount of things that we can do with the Internet of Things in the healthcare world. Also, just making better devices as well. So some of the major disadvantages of IoT is security. Of course, whenever you have something on the internet, security is also always a big problem. The dependability on technology. A lot of people believe that our generation is becoming too dependent upon technology. And then, of course, loss of jobs when we move to the internet and become more electronic, humans lose jobs. So some of the security concerns, and researchers have identified privacy challenges faced by all stakeholders in the IoT domain. One of them being user consent. Some say that users don't have to give informed consent to the data. Also, freedom of choice. Both privacy protections and underlying standards should promote freedom of choice. And then the anonymity. You want to make sure that everything you post is anonymous and that that information cannot be accessed. So some security breaches that we've recently heard about. A few years ago, Google was actually able to access private information they're not supposed to, and that's why we want to make sure when it comes to internet things that the privacy is also at the forefront. Because if companies can get a hold of this, they can actually target customers and they can access private knowledge that is supposed to be kept private to use for their personal gain. Also, a few years ago, Target consumers were hacked, and a lot of them lost their information, a lot of money, a lot of private information that was supposed to be kept private by Target through a hacking system. Also, Verizon storage images. You can see in the image here, Verizon is no longer storing things, and it can be a problem for those who are trying to access certain information. Next, the dependability on technology. Some may think that we're getting upon a over reliance on technology, which I do not necessarily agree with. As we become more sophisticated, of course, we have a bigger need for technology. However, system crashes are a major problem because if the system ever does go down, we can no longer access the information unless we have disaster recovery in place. So why move to IT? Mostly because of the interconnectability of devices and the integration of data. This allows us to work on projects and all of that from pretty much anywhere in the world. And if companies are able to figure this out, the possibilities for the Internet of Things is pretty much and virtually endless. So again, thank you so much for watching my video on the Internet of Things. It is clear that if we can ever figure out this vast system of data, it can be extremely beneficial not only to businesses but humans as well.